you can see, this is so much bigger than me. That this is about you, really, and about your voice being heard. So, you know, I say I'm just a mom. Sure, like I can check the boxes, I have degrees, whatever. But truly, I'm a mom that's been home with my kids for 14 years. And when I saw all the garbage coming at our kids and our families, I was compelled to do something about it. And you guys, I'm talking about the most vile content in our public school libraries. Right. Yeah. Do not be gaslit. Like that, it is there. I found hundreds of books in every secondary school library in Belton ISD.
Wow.
And it's vile, and it's obvious violations of the penal code, the Texas Penal Code, obvious violations of the Texas Education Code. And I really thought, well, they probably just don't know. So as soon as they know, they'll do something about it. I went to administration. I spoke before the school board multiple times. And instead I was called a book banner. I was called a homophobe. I was marginalized. And I didn't get a good response locally. I went to our current representative. He said, oh, just keep doing what you're doing. I'll talk to the school board. But you guys, a lot of those books remained. So I started going to Austin every week, advocating for laws to protect our children. I served on the subcommittee for the Republican Party of Texas to stop sexualizing Texas kids. There you go. Those efforts were being consulted on legislation, testifying for legislation, advocating for the advancement of legislation that would protect our children and strengthen our families. What I realized in the process is that there are a lot of people in authority that are squandering their influence. And that time is over. We're done with that. So we deserve representation that's effective, that reflects the values of our community. That's right. Not just a few, all of us. That's right. And that's how I got here today. So when I'm there, I made a lot of good relationships, including the governor, got a lot of support, and so many were saying, Hillary, you can do this, you can do this. And I just thought, I don't know, who am I? So then I went home and I told my husband, I said, we met at Baylor, we've been married for 20 years, and I said, people are saying I should run for state representative. And he said, definitely. And then I got really scared. So I just started praying about it, and doors opened that should not have been opened to me. And so I just recognized that this is so much bigger than me. This is about all of you. I know so many people have been praying, not just for me, but for our region. Praying for our families, praying for our children. We see what's wrong, and we just need someone to step into that place of influence, to be their voice. And that's what I want to tell you. I'm here not trying to say that I know everything about everything, but that's not what a representative does. I'm telling you that I'm here because I will be your ear, the things that matter, and then I'll be your voice. We have a seat at the table. I'll be your voice in Austin. It will be heard. Specifically, I'm thinking about issues here in Harker Heights. We talk about the disabled veterans tax exemption, that state mandate, while it is a gift and well-earned, has become somewhat of a burden on our cities. And I want to tell you, I've spoken with Senator Flores. I will work with him to bring relief to Bell County, to our district. That's a specific thing that I have taken a deep dive into. So we've got to recognize, though, that what a gift we have in our governor. Really. When I talk about leaders who are squandering their influence and not doing what needs to be done, he is not one of them. He is a governor who listens. He's heard the heart cry of parents who are saying they want choices in education. They want power over the future of their children. He's listening. He's listening to taxpayers who say this burden is too heavy, this is too much. He's listening. And he's listening to all Texans when they say, secure our border. So not only does he listen, but he acts, y'all. He's doing something about it. He called those legislators to the floor with special session after special session for those issues that we were crying out for. He's called leaders from across the nation to come together with resources and help at our border. He is leading the nation in securing our border.
Yes.
He's led our state to be the 8th largest global economy. That's huge. And he is going all out to empower parents over the future of their children. So I'm so honored to have his endorsement, to have his support. Everyone, please show your love and support for our governor, Greg Abbott.
Howdy. Hey. Give it up for Hillary Hickland. Great to be out here with you all and visit with you about what's going on. Visit with you truly about your future, your lives, and your family. That's what elections are all about. They're not about Hillary or myself. They're about you and your families. And what you need is somebody who goes to Austin, Texas, and fights for you and your values, and that is Hillary Hickland. As I will explain in more detail over the course of my remarks, listen, there are a lot of people who get elected, especially in Republican primaries, who go to Austin, Texas. And as you all know, the values of Austin, Texas are a lot different than they are right. Yeah, you know. Exactly. Did you say build a wall? I'll be. Oh, so you're saying build a wall between here and Austin? Is that what you're saying? Around Austin. All right. Let us finish the border wall first. All right. I could not be more clear, and again, as I will explain, right now, y'all have a state representative who used to be a Democrat, voted in Democrat primaries, went to Democrat conventions, and has gone to Austin, Texas, and has continued his legacy of siding with Democrats against the priorities of people who elected him in a Republican primary. It's unacceptable. You deserve someone, when you go cast your vote, you deserve to know that the person that you elect to send to Austin, Texas is going to represent your values in Austin, Texas. I know for a fact that Hillary is going to be working with me to support you to make sure that we accomplish your values. Listen, I know one of those values are pocketbook issues.
Yes.
We're all dealing with the consequences of Biden inflation and Biden's reckless economy. And one of the best things that we as a state can do is to work to help you keep more of your own money by delivering to you property tax cuts. This last session, after calling, I had to call these members in the legislature, in the House, to get back to work in special session after special session to get them to finally pass a property tax cut. But when they did, I signed into law the largest property tax cut in the history of the United States of America. Can I tell you guys something that y'all can just keep within this room? All right. I like it. Sounds like a good. So here's the deal. But because, remember, Hillary right before I came out, talked about the profound Texas economy. Our economy is growing so strong, so powerful. It looks like when you elect Hillary and she's in Austin working with me, we may have another budget surplus of close to $20 billion. One thing that Hillary knows and that I know, that surplus doesn't belong to the state of Texas. That surplus is your money. It belongs to you. And Hillary will work with me to return it to you with another large property tax cut. Hillary also knows that we're facing challenges in our state that go beyond just pocketbook issues. We face issues that go to the core of your values. The values believed in by the people in particular in this House district. And I fought back against those values that were trying to erode the state of Texas.
Tell the UN where to go.
I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. I told the UN to pound sand. Bunch of idiots. Interestingly, there's been one thing in the history of the UN that I agree with, and that got right. Believe this, I'm going to get ahead of myself here, and I'll come back to this, but the United Nations actually, because of the chaos caused by Joe Biden on the border, his open border policies literally are killing people. And the only thing I've ever seen the United Nations get right is they recently declared that the border between the United States and Mexico under Joe Biden is the deadliest land border in the entire world. And that's why I'm going to come back and tell you the way that Texas has the stiff spine to step up and fight back against Joe Biden's open border policy. It's not just Joe Biden, it's the woke left agenda across the entire country that's trying to invade the state of Texas. And I'm protecting Texas not only from an invasion on a border, I'm protecting Texas from an invasion of our morality, of our values, by the woke leftists across the entire country. I worked this past session with a woman some people here will know the name of, and that is Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines, for those of you who don't know, she's a woman who began training to be an elite swimmer from an early age and went on to swim at the University of Kentucky and compete in the NCAA college ranks and beat woman after woman after woman. And then amazingly, the woke NCAA changed the rules, and they said not only did she have to swim against and beat other women, she had to swim against a man who identified as a woman. That's outrageous. Even both more amazing and outrageous. When Riley Gaines swam against that man, she actually tied him in that swim meet, but the NCAA gave the award to him, not to Riley Gaines. That's wrong. I worked with Riley, and I signed a law saying no men in women's sports in the state of Texas. But that's not the end of it. It gets worse in a way, because as we gather here today, there are multiple, as in many, several, school districts across the state of Texas that are trying to impose this woke left agenda on our kids in schools. The Dallas Independent School District, a school district in the panhandle of all places, they have a resource guide that they provide to families in that district to explain to families how the children, the students in those schools can change their genders. What in the world, why are our schools teaching that to our kids and to our families? Are all of our kids making 100 scores on all their tests? Of course not. If there's a resource guide that should be provided to our families, it should be on how our kids can do a better job in math and science and reading and writing, the things that they're supposed to be learning. And that's exactly right. Listen, you can count on Hillary on one thing that's completely different. from the incumbent, and that is she will ensure that our schools and our education system will be used to educate our kids, not to indoctrinate our kids. There's a suburb just west of Dallas, Texas, where there were films coming out of this suburban school, a high school, showing a man teacher cross-dressing in class, going to school, wearing dresses, high heels, other things like that. Do you think there's any way that those kids in that class are going to be focusing their attention on their math or on their reading assignments or whatever the case? Well, of course not. But let me ask you this much more important question. Do you think that parents of children who have that teacher for their child, do you think they should be required to keep their child in that teacher's class? No! Well, believe this or not, Texas law as it currently exists requires you, if you're going to continue to go to public schools, requires you to force your child to be in that teacher's class, and that is wrong. And someone who believes in keeping it that way is Hugh Shine, your current state representative. That's completely wrong, because you all, as parents, you have the God-given right to choose the school and education pathway best for your child. So here's the deal, and this is extraordinarily important. The last time that you Republicans went to go vote in a primary 2 years ago, there was a ballot initiative. The ballot initiative asked, do you support school choice? 88% of you in this House district said yes, you support school choice. That's right. Yes. And then when we brought it up in a special session, actually in the regular session and in a special session, time and time again, Hugh Shine didn't support the 88% of you that wanted school choice. He voted against you, was against you. That's wrong. But let me tell you something. I'm going to work with Hillary on getting a bill passed that not only supports the 88% of you, but actually supports the 100% of you because of what this bill does. Here's what I offered up to Hugh Shine and that he rejected. And that is, for one, adding $6 billion more for our public schools in the state of Texas, providing teacher pay raises, and getting rid of the STAR test in the state of Texas. Add that to school choice, and Texas will be on a pathway to providing the best education, not just for our kids, but also for our families and our educators. And I know that Hillary Hickland will work with me and get that passed. To show you just one example of how outrageous some of the education policies are that Hugh Shine supports, do you remember this fella named Beto O'Rourke? Well, let me make an apology here for a second. Let me make an apology because I have not been here to personally thank you all for thanking you for helping me smash and obliterate Beto O'Rourke in the last election. But Beto O'Rourke came out in favor of some of the education policies that were being advanced by Hugh Shine. I don't believe that our Republican primary elected officials should be doing anything that Beto O'Rourke supports. We need somebody in office that Beto O'Rourke will be against, and that is Hillary Hickland. Yes. Another thing that Beto O'Rourke is not too happy about at all, and that is what Texas is doing to step up and fight back and make sure Texas leads the way in fighting Joe Biden's open border policy. There you go. Well, so quite literally, if Joe Biden remains on the ballot, he's going to get fired because he's done such a bad job for the United States of America. But here's the deal. What he is doing is truly endangering the lives of our fellow Americans. His policies are causing Americans to lose their lives. Think what happened just this past week about that, yeah, exactly, the nursing student in Georgia, in Athens, Georgia, where an illegal immigrant that seemed to be allowed in to the United States of America under Joe Biden's policy to allow Venezuelans in, to come in and know this, in Venezuela, they are letting dangerous criminals out of their prisons. And they're coming to the state of Texas. And they're coming to the United States of America. And when they're being processed, Joe Biden allows them to go free wherever they want to go in the United States. And of course, it's not just this woman in Georgia. Y'all saw what happened in New York City, where they were bidding up police officers in New York City. And those are just two of literally thousands of different examples. And I tell you what, it seems like we've been dealing with this crisis forever. It's important that you all do not forget that it was just 4 years ago we had the lowest illegal border crossings in about 40 years. And it's because of 4 policies put in place by President Trump. One is the Remain in Mexico policy. 2 is the Title 42 policy. 3 is the end of catch and release. And 4 is to build the border wall. That's what led to the all-time record low number of people coming across the border in the past 4 decades. When Joe Biden came into office, he used his executive order authority to sign executive orders eliminating all 4 of those policies, opening up the border to everybody across the entire world, and now more than 8 million people have crossed that border illegally. But it gets worse. I want to share with you some information that a lot of people in the public do not know, and that is Joe Biden does have the authority by Congress to secure the border. Right? Remember just a couple of weeks ago when he told you and his fellow Americans he doesn't have the authority to so either A, he lied, or B, he didn't know what he was talking about, or C, all of the above. So let me be very, very clear about this. There are laws already passed by Congress that require the President's administration to deny illegal entry into the United States of America. They're not denying illegal entry, they are aiding and abetting illegal entry into our country. Law number 2 requires the presidential administration that if somebody gets across the border illegally, they must be detained. They're not detaining them, they're setting them loose to go wherever they want, like this guy who killed the woman in Georgia. Law number 3, passed by Congress, requires the Biden administration to build border barriers to stop people from entering illegally. He hasn't lifted a finger to build a border barrier. The only thing Joe Biden has done with regard to border barriers is fight back against Texas building our own border barriers. Well, because of the imminent danger the state of Texas is facing, because Joe Biden is refusing to enforce the laws passed by Congress, that is exactly why I invoke Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution, saying Texas has a right to defend ourselves and secure us against the invasion that we are facing on the border. So let me tell you the things that we're doing. One thing that we're doing, getting back to your point about the border wall, not the wall between here and Austin, but the wall on the border itself. And that is, Texas is the only state in the history of America to build our own border wall. And we didn't reinvent the wheel. It's the exact same border wall that President Trump was building. The only difference is this. If you look at the amount of wall that we have already put up and the amount of wall that's currently under construction, Texas is building more of the Trump border wall in Texas than Trump built in the state of Texas. And it's going up today as we speak. Second thing, do you remember those big orange buoys that we put in the river? They were designed by the Border Patrol to deny illegal entry, and they work. And what you know, once we put them into the river, Joe Biden filed a lawsuit to put a stop to it. That lawsuit is still working its way through the courts, but I want you to know, as we gather at this event here today, those buoys remain in the Rio Grande River. Third, do you guys remember the story? If not, I will just elaborate on it. There's a large island in the Rio Grande River between Texas and Mexico. I don't know, maybe 10, 20, 30 times the size of this location that we're gathered in here today. And on this island, there was nothing but cane and brushes and small trees and things like that, packed far closer together and far tighter than the people in this room. It had been taken over, even though it's owned by the state of Texas, it had been taken over by the cartels. And the cartels used it as a staging location where they would move people and contraband from Mexico to the island, keep it on the island until it was a good time to sneak it into the state of Texas. And so I ordered our Texas National Guard, go seize and take back that island that belongs to the state of Texas. First thing they did was use bulldozers to build a land area going from the state of Texas out to that island, so that the island now is basically a peninsula. Then the second thing is they use those bulldozers on that island to mow down everything on that island and make it as barren as the floor that we are gathered on here today. And there's only one thing on that island today, and that's the flag of the great state of Texas. Well, actually, one other thing, and that is what the National Guard did. They rimmed that island with this military-grade razor wire to make sure that neither the cartels nor illegal immigrants would be able to get into that island again. So that is part, a large part, of what our National Guard is doing. There are thousands of National Guard deployed to the border. They're working as we speak right now. Give it up for the National Guard of the great state of Texas. What they have done is they have built far more than 100 miles of this military-grade razor wire border barrier, and now they are adding anti-climb barriers along with it to deny illegal entry into the state of Texas. And they have turned back well over 100,000 people who tried to get in illegally and turn them back to Mexico. And of course, it worked so well that Joe Biden said he needed to put a stop to it. And so he went to the United States Supreme Court, asking the Supreme Court to be authorized for the Border Patrol to be able to cut through that wire. And after the Supreme Court, they didn't really issue an opinion. They just sent the case back down to the Federal Court of Appeals. But listen, there was uncertainty about what was going on. And so after that Supreme Court issued that decision, I told our National Guard, I do not want you to double the amount of razor wire on the border. I want you to triple the amount of razor wire that you put on our border. I also ordered our National Guard to seize that park in Eagle Pass, Texas. That was the #1 location for illegal immigration coming across Mexico into the United States, into the state of Texas. Seize that 50-acre park, wire it shut, and deny illegal entry into that park, and also deny the Biden administration from being able to use it as a staging location to promote illegal immigration into the United States of America. This is a park where before we took control of it, they would have 3,000, 4,000, sometimes 5,000 people a day crossing across the border in that location. No more. There's not 1,000 people crossing. There's not 100 people crossing a day. Over the past week, there's been on average 7 people crossing a day at that location. And most of them are arrested by the Texas Department of Public Safety. So here's what's going on. Because our footprint needs to grow and our effort needs to expand even more. That's exactly why 2 weeks ago I announced something else. and that is Texas is building our own National Guard military base on the border just south of Eagle Pass, Texas. It's going to house about 2,300 National Guard troops that will be able to very swiftly respond to anything down there and do even more to build those border barriers to deny illegal entry. And I go through all this just to help you understand. There's a lot that we're doing to secure the border. I told you about much of it, but not all of it. But just know this, when it comes to getting it done, this is not something that I, as governor, do alone. This is something where I need members in the Texas House of Representatives who support me and will help me in my cause. The fact of the matter is, I do not trust your current Representative Hugh Shine to help me on the border. I trust Hillary Hickland to work with me to secure the border. Listen, after you cast your vote, as you go about your daily lives, earning a living, taking care of your family and things like that, you got to have trust and confidence and know that the person representing you is going to be fighting for you every single day, including ensuring that we have a secure border. I trust Hillary Hickland to deliver on that promise to you. And I just want you to know this. Unless and until Joe Biden steps up and does his job to finally secure the border, Texas will continue to bus those migrants to sanctuary cities across the United States of America. Those people are a bunch of hypocrites. I've never seen anything like it. Exactly. So that crazy mayor of New York, that guy would never last a day in the state of Texas, I can tell you that much. But listen, I'm very, very proud of y'all being out here, because this election is about you all. And now is the time to take action. So how many people have already voted early? There you go, about half of you or so. So remember what Trump said 2 weekends ago. He said, bank that vote early. Get it done. Don't wait until Election Day. Don't even wait late into early voting. Get it done now. So I know many people in this room are kind of like I was in my family growing up, and that is, my mom taught me what your parents taught you, and that is, do not put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Exactly. So why in the world would you violate what your parents told you to do? And I bet you, some of you got kids and you told them to do that same thing. I want think about what you told your kids. Do it, and if you haven't done it already, do it today. Go cast your vote for Hillary Hickland. Get it done. And because you all are such great patriots, because you do everything to support the state of Texas, because you're here to support Hillary Hickland, I in turn want to show my gratitude to you by staying here and providing the ability for you all to take a picture for everybody who wants one. Take a picture and then go vote. Go vote for Hillary Hickland. God bless you all, and God bless the great state of Texas.
At Mountain View Productions, we want to give you and your business peak visibility.